Scott Brady, you know, when I read your bio, I got such a chuckle out of it because really, it reads like it was put out by the Notre Dame Publicity Department. Now we have to explain that, don't we?
Fool wrote it. I haven't seen that.
Have you not seen your bio?
No, I haven't. You haven't read
There's
anything.
this much about, you know, just a little bit on a page about you and your career, and the rest of that page and all of the next page is about what a great Notre Dame fan you are.
Well, you know, there's nothing like the subway alumni. They're worse than the real Notre Dame graduates, you know.
Now,
they overreact to everything.
How did this great love affair with Notre Dame come about?
Well, you know, being a Brooklyn Irishman, never went to college. So if you're going to pick one college to be a subway alumni of, you know, so you might as well pick the best. My brother Ed was quite a good football player in high school, and he had an excellent opportunity to go there. Then he hurt his knee, the old story, and didn't go. So we always kind of root for Notre Dame now.
And do you sometimes wear a Notre Dame cap and Notre Dame
in the show,
sweat?
as a matter of fact.
Well, yes, in the show, but I mean away from the show.
Well, it depends on where you go, you know. Depends on where you go. You might get hit with a tomato if you go in the wrong places.
I suppose so. Do you know Ara Parsegian?
Yeah, I met the great Ara. Had the pleasure of meeting him several times.
Yeah. You know,
and Moose Krause, the head of athletics there, I met, a friend of mine.
In a way, South Bend is kind of an adopted hometown of mine because my husband is from South Bend, Indiana.
Yes.
But I am from Lafayette, Indiana. So a couple of Hoosiers that went to Texas and stayed.
Yeah, I had a great year this year.
Notre Dame.
Oh, yes, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I was back, you know, for the Southern California game, and old Moose Krause, the head of athletics there, asked me to speak at the rally. Very big honor, you know. I made it very brief, though, you know. You don't get too long-winded down there.
Can you tell us what you said?
Oh, I just said, well, you can't miss, really, unless you make a complete fool of yourself, you know. Because you have 20,000 people there, and they really still, you've heard about that madhouse that Notre Dame is, the football weekends. I just said, God, I love the Irish, which I do. And they went wild about that. You know, how could you miss it that? And I said that I had two great experiences in my life. One was being invited and attending John Kennedy's inauguration, and the other one is happening right then, now, that is, speaking to them at the Notre Dame campus.
How did you happen to be invited to the Kennedy inauguration?
Well, I sort of...
you knew him?
I had met him the day before the convention. They had a big luncheon here from the Virginia delegation. Some men from Virginia gave for all the potential nominees, you know, at the Sheraton West Townhouse, it was called then, and I met him briefly there, and then I met him again at SC, where after he was nominated, he was campaigning, and they know who's out there pitching, you know, so I was very shocked, really, pleasantly shocked to get the invitation to come to the inauguration, and I happily went.
Have you ever gone to Ireland?
Certainly have me, darling. You know I wouldn't miss that.
And you kissed the Blarney Stone?
No, I didn't. I don't need it. I was
do
born
you
with
know
that.
how they do that?
Yeah, upside down and backwards. They hang you down by your heels.
You know, I wasn't prepared for that, and somebody grabs you and throws you down on this rock and throws your head back.
An Irishman would never drop a pretty girl like you. You know. You'd sooner drop a bottle of whiskey than drop you. I was the last time I was there for 7 weeks and stayed in a little town in Dundalk, which is just on the border of occupied country. You know, the invaders are up there in the north.
Yes. And but do you sort of just feel that is second home, or maybe first home?
Oh yeah, you know, if you're Irish, you got a kind of a...
You know what I love about going to Ireland is that no matter where you go, you just make instant friends.
Oh gosh, yeah, they call it Cave Me to Funch at 100,000 welcomes, the land of 100,000 welcomes. Did you read the book by Kenny O'Donnell and Dave Powers called Johnny We Hardly Knew Ye?
No, but
it's a great book. You'll love it.
So, and
because it's tragic and a sad story in many ways, but at the end, naturally, but it's funny. Their description of his trip to Ireland, he must have had a ball, you know, because Johnny come home, you know, and all that. And there were some funny things. Like on one occasion, they say he wants to meet this one man, and he said, "Well, don't you want to meet?" He said, "I met him." He said, "He met me before." He said, "He met me." And then another time, as he was leaving, there was some guy held up a big sign for him, and it said, "Don't worry, John. The Iron Curtain will rust in peace." They're funny. I had a lot of fun there.
They're so poetic. So
Oh, gosh,
poetic.
yeah.
Scott, it's been fun having this
Bobbie,
chance to
nice
talk
meeting you.
with you.